using this microphone that's very sensitive, very sensitive little lapel microphone connected to my little device here, which is connected to various other things, but that's the process. I've got it connected to a membership card to the TCA, which is the Climbing Academy, not the TCA from the Loki show. Time something association, I don't know what. But anyways, let's get started. Animals that might make it. What animals are likely to exist in a few million years. It's a fascinating concept that I love to think about. I love to think about how we're all going to evolve, not just humans, how other animals might evolve. And the first thing that comes to is let's keep scrolling, here we go. We have, oh, this is interesting, okay. Oh. I'll read this properly then. I thought it might be a list, but no. While it can sometimes seem like humanity is hell-bent on environmental destruction, it's unlikely our actions will end all life on Earth. Some creatures are sure to endure in this age of mass extinction and climate crisis. Over time, they will adapt to a harsher world we've helped create, evolving to meet the moment as best as they can. Some of these transformations have gotten underway in our lifetimes. Climate change, some research suggests, is already shape-shifting animals, shrinking certain migratory birds and speeding up the life cycles of amphibians, for example. No one knows exactly what changes to plants and animals will transpire in the years to come. Still, evolutionary biologists say it's worth trying to imagine what creatures will evolve in the future. I do think it's a really useful and important exercise, this alter profession of evolution. Oh, this is not something I care about. Okay. So flightless, carnivorous pigeon. Curved beak, powerful legs, and it's flightless. It looks like a dodo. Okay. Animals that might make it. What animals are likely to exist in a million years from now? The big question I posed to everyone I spoke with. Oh, baby. Animals like seals and whales have followed this path in their transition from land-dwelling creatures to aquatic ones. Again, these specific evolutionary paths are pure speculation, but experts say they're within the realm of possibility. Fully aquatic whale rat, eel-like tail, flippers for arms, and like a rat's body and head. The environments of the future that will shape evolution. The second way to think about animals of the future is by imagining the environments of the future. Environments can drive evolution by exerting select pressure, favouring some traits over others. For example, some birds have evolved long, pointy beaks to draw nectar out of flowers. If anything, there will likely be plastic in the environment well into the future. Of all the elements that humans have introduced into the environment, plastic waste is already ubiquitous, and remnants of it might linger for millennia if humans go on producing it as we have. Plastic is a big source of carbon, which all living things depend on. Cesar's above. Any animal that can exploit that will be successful. In a way, this development would kind of go full circle. Many plastics are made from petroleum, which is called a fossil fuel precisely because it derives from ancient transmogrified plant and animal remains, so new life forms could learn to eat the leftovers of really, really old ones. Termites could be one such critter. These insects already have a gut microbiome, a collection of microorganisms that help with digestion. That break down cellulose. Like plastic, cellulose is made of complex carbon polymer. So it's not a stretch to imagine termites adapting to break down another polymer like plastic. The distant future is also likely to be more watery as sea levels rise, decreases the portion of the planet covered by dry land. In envisioning a world of rising seas and altered coastlines, some scientists think about how certain animals might take to living in more marine environments. Charlene Santana, a professor of biology at the University of Washington, considers how a bat species might evolve to live off of and around the oceans. She imagines a bat with a 6-foot wingspan taking shape, capable of gliding like an albatross instead of flapping its wings, perhaps covering hundreds of miles in search of food or islands to roost. It might use finely tuned echolocation to sense ripples in the water in order to detect fish. In fact, bats already do this. It's been called the sailing bat, looking to the past to predict the future. Many of the scientists who spoke to Vox, the company I'm reading right now, imagined a future environment where humans are no longer around. In doing so, they often drew from animals that existed on Earth before our time. Perhaps these these types of creatures could make a return down the line. If humans were to go extinct, our carbon emissions could still remain in the air for a long time. That could lead to boom times for plants, some of which can thrive in a CO2-dense atmosphere. The increased density and diversity of plants, in turn, might eventually increase the concentration of oxygen in the atmosphere. Researchers have hypothesized that the growth of insects depends in part, on the concentration of oxygen in the atmosphere, which can lead to insects developing larger bodies. So, a future oxygen-rich world is one that might be able to foster rabbit-sized praying mantises, or ants as large as hummingbirds and dragonflies as large as hawks. Gigantic mantis, the size of a cocker spaniel, hunts cockroaches the size of Pomeranians. It sounds extreme, and these visions of the future are merely educated guesses. Then again, something like it has happened before. Around 300 million years ago in the Carboniferous era, the atmosphere was more than 30% oxygen, compared to 21% today. The fossil record reveals that insects around that time were far larger. Mayrin Balisi, a paleontologist at the Labrie Tar Pits in Los Angeles, thinks about what type of apex predators might rise to the top of the food chain if humanity does blink out. To that end, she considers that predators existed before humans. It considers what predators existed before humans. When we think about large predators in North America alone, we think of the grey wolves, the mountain lion, or the grizzly bear. Balisi says, but large predators on the continent were much more common up until around 12,000 years ago, during the Pleistocene epoch, or most recent ice age, with many species of saber-toothed cats and bone-crushing canines roaming the land. In a future world devoid of human beings, Balisi speculates, such large predators might be able to evolve once again. She is most confident about the saber-toothed cats, whose long, sharp teeth and bulky limbs evolved independently multiple times in the last 40 million years. If some lineage of felines persists eons into the future, history could very well repeat itself. What kind of future do we want? Modern humans have only been around a few 100,000 years, but what we do today is likely to have ripple effects for how the natural world looks tomorrow. The evolution of life depends on the genetic and development toolkit as we know it today, says Santana, the biologist at the University of Washington, because there's natural variation between animals. Some are better at competing for resources and surviving with the least helpful traits tending to fizzle out, while others crop up the new adaptations. As species continue to go extinct, whether due to habitat loss, agriculture, poaching, or human-caused climate change, many potential sources of diverse life are extinguished from the future too. Scientists can still imagine a world where animals are endangered today, diversity and protect their ability to respond to change. That was really fascinating and very true. As someone that loves the idea of the future and what it brings for life, and I talk to a lot of people, and I mentioned it a few times that I am almost accepting of the inevitability of the apocalypse, whether it's caused by us or not. Like it says, we are within or on the brink of the sixth extinction event. I can't recall the exact statistic, but if a specific amount of animal species go extinct by 2030, 2035 kind of time, let's just say in the next 20 years. I know 2030 is in 6 years, but in the next 20 years, and we are fully on our way to reaching that goal. Today is considered an extinction event, as part of the extinction event, and it's important to add that an extinction event isn't a single day, or a week, or a month, or even a year, or a few years. Extinction events can take place over thousands of years. Most extinction events do. The meteorite was kind of like a rare occurrence in how quickly of an extinction event took place. Lots of them take place over a huge amount of time, and it can be up to 10,000 years kind of thing, maybe even more. But so it's fascinating to see that we are likely to be within that range, and so to think about what an extinction event actually means for the Earth, and to look back in the past and realise that these events don't mean it's the end of the world. It's just the end of the world as we know it, as the good old song goes. And so it's like this article says, and like I probably already said in this video, it's fascinating to see what's beyond that, what the future holds, and hopeful for a more diverse range of life, potentially completely new kingdoms. We have birds, insects, and mammals. Fish don't count. And there's potential for maybe another one. Maybe we develop another species, and something like that is almost unimaginable, and something that I really like thinking about is we talk about the dinosaurs, how the dinosaurs happened 100 million years ago, 67 to 100 million, or 60 million years ago to like 200 million years ago. And whenever the conversation comes about future life, 600 million years old. To add another 100 million years to that is like, it sounds kind of obvious, you know. It's and so it's always fun to think of like little thought exercises